Okay, all, it's super important to understand that 2.3b lesson, part one, is done in a Google form called Climb the Ladder. Okay, so all of these problems that you need to figure out are done through a Climb the Ladder. And then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to finish the last three word problems in this lesson. So this is 2.3b lesson. Kind of think of it as part two. Part one was the climb the ladder activity. Okay. All right. So it says write an expression to solve each word problem. Answer the question in a complete sentence. Ron hiked for 8 3/4 miles. After resting, Ron hiked back along the same trail for 3 1/4 miles. How many more miles does Ron need to hike to return to his starting point? Okay, I hope you're feeling like this is a subtraction problem. So we're going to take 8 3/4 and we're going to subtract 3 1/4. Okay, now the nice thing about this calculation is we can take 3 away from 8 and we can take 1 away from 3. So we don't need to do any borrowing. We don't need to do any change these into improper fractions. So 8 minus 3 gets us 5, and 3 minus 1 gets us 2/4. So that would be 5 1/2. So Ron needs to hike 5 1/2 miles to return to his starting point. Okay, number 14. Temperatures for 5 days in Seattle, Washington are given in degrees Fahrenheit below. Temperatures for the following week are expected to be approximately 12 degrees lower each day than the given temperatures. What are the highest and lowest temperatures expected for the corresponding 5 days? Okay, so here's my question. Do we need to find 12 degrees lower on each of these? Hope you're thinking no. Okay, we need to look at the highest and the lowest. Okay, so here's the lowest temperature. That's the lowest. Okay, the highest temperature, this would be the biggest number. So there's the highest. Okay, so we need to take the negative 22 1/2 and we need to subtract 12 more degrees. Okay, well, that's going to be negative 34 1/2 degrees. Okay, and then we have to take this negative 19 1/2 and subtract 12 degrees. And that's going to be negative 31 1/2 degrees. Okay, so the lowest temperature is negative 34 1/2 degrees Fahrenheit. The highest temperature is negative 31 1/2 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, no need to even mess around with these three values. Okay, all right, the last one. A football team loses 4 1/2 yards on their first play. On the next play, they gain 2 1/2 yards. What is the overall increase or decrease in yards? Okay, so losing 4 1/2 yards would look like that. Gaining 2 1/2 yards would look like that. When you combine those, you get -2. So the negative means that they lost. They lost 2 yards overall. Okay, so that concludes the entire lesson on 2.3b lesson, operations with positive and negative fractions. Okay, thanks guys.